Have you ever been in a season where it feels like nothing is happening? You're praying, you're believing, you're trying to stay faithful. But day after day, it feels like everything is the same. No progress, no breakthrough, no sign that anything is changing. And if you're being honest, it's exhausting. Because you expected something by now. You thought things would look different. You thought doors would open. You thought answers would come. But instead, you're still waiting. And waiting can be one of the hardest things you will ever go through. Because waiting tests something deep inside of you. It tests your patience. It tests your faith. It tests your trust in God. Because silence can feel like absence. Like God is not there. Like He's not listening. Like nothing is happening. And the longer it takes, the harder it gets. You start to question things. You start to wonder, did I miss something? Did I hear God wrong? Is this ever going to change? And slowly, that waiting turns into frustration. And that frustration can turn into doubt. But there's a story in the Bible that speaks directly to this. The story of Lazarus. Lazarus was sick, and his family knew exactly what to do. They sent word to Jesus because they believed in Him. They trusted Him. They knew He had the power to heal, so they expected Him to come quickly. They expected Him to show up right away. But something unexpected happened. Jesus didn't come immediately. He waited. Now think about that. The one who had the power to fix it chose to wait. And while he waited, Lazarus died. Now imagine how that felt. They believed. They trusted. They called on Jesus, and it still didn't happen the way they expected. Have you ever felt like that? Like you did everything right, but things still didn't work out? Like you prayed, but nothing changed? Like you trusted God, but the situation got worse? Because that's where they were. Confused, hurt, disappointed, wondering, God, where were you? Why didn't you come sooner? And maybe that's where you are right now, in a place where it feels like God is late, like He should have already moved, like He should have already answered. But here's what you need to understand. God is never late. He's intentional. Because what looks like a delay to you is not a delay to Him. It's part of the plan. Because when Jesus finally showed up, everything changed. But before He did anything, He felt something. The Bible says, Jesus wept. That means even though He knew what He was about to do, He still felt their pain. He still cared. He still saw their hurt. And that's important for you to understand. Just because God is not moving the way you expected doesn't mean He doesn't care. He sees you. He knows what you're going through. He feels your pain. And He has not forgotten about you. Then Jesus stood at the tomb, and He said something powerful. Take away the stone. Now this is important, because before the miracle happened, there was still something they had to do. They had to move the stone. And sometimes, God will ask you to do something small before He does something big, even in your waiting, even in your confusion, even when you don't understand. There is still a role for you to play. And then Jesus called out, Lazarus, come forth. And the man who was dead walked out alive. Now think about that. What looked like the end was not the end. What looked like it was over was not over. What looked like a delay was actually setting up something greater. Because if Jesus had come earlier, He would have just healed him. But because He waited, He performed a resurrection. And that's what you need to understand. Sometimes God will allow things to go longer than you expected, because what He's about to do is bigger than what you asked for. You were praying for a solution, but God is preparing something greater. You were asking for relief, but God is setting up restoration. You were expecting a small change, but God is preparing a complete turnaround. And it requires time. It requires patience. It requires trust. Because the waiting season is not wasted. It's working. Even when you don't see it. Even when you don't feel it. Even when everything looks the same. God is moving behind the scenes, aligning things, positioning people, preparing you. Because there are things that have to happen in you before they happen for you. Growth, maturity, strength, faith. Because if God gave you everything too early, you wouldn't be ready for it. So instead of seeing this season as nothing happening, start seeing it as something developing. Because God is building something in you. And when it finally happens, you will understand why it had to take this long. You'll see the purpose. You'll see the preparation. You'll see that God was working the entire time. So don't give up in the waiting. Don't walk away in the silence. Don't let the delay make you doubt, because God is not ignoring you. He's working, even when you don't see it, even when it feels still, even when it feels like nothing is changing. God is still moving, and your moment is coming. So stay faithful, stay patient, and keep trusting Him. Because what God is about to do in your life is going to be worth the wait.